Hello guys, I'm gonna continue reading the book Fahrenheit 451, and last time I left it at the page 160, and I'm gonna continue from police alert, wanted, fugitive in city, has committed murder and crimes against the state, named Guy Montag, occupation fireman. Last seen, he runs steadily for 6 blocks in the LA, and then the LA opened out onto a wide empty thoroughfare 10 lanes wide. It seemed like a boatless river frozen there in a raw light of the high white arc lamps you could draw trying to cross it. He felt it was too wide, it was too open, it was a vast stage without scenery, invading him to run across, easily seen in a blazing illumination, easily caught, easily shot down. The seashell hummed in his ear, watched for a man running, watched for the running man, watched for a man alone on foot watch. Montag pulled back into the shadows. Directly ahead lay a gas station, a great chunk of porcelain snow shining there, and 2 silver beetles pulling in to fill up. Now he must be clean and presentable if we wished to walk, not run, strolling calmly across that wide boulevard. It would give him an extra margin of safety if he washed up and combed his hair before he went on his way to get where. I'm gonna check where I'm gonna read until. Damn, bruh. That's so much. It's fine. Okay. So he thought, where I am running? Nowhere. There was nowhere to go. No friend to turn to, really, except Faber. And then he realized that he was indeed running towards Faber's house instinctively. But Faber couldn't hide him. It would be suicide even to try. But he knew that he would go to see Faber anyway. For a few short minutes, Faber would be the place where he might refuel his draining belief in his own ability to survive. He just wanted to know that there was a man like Faber in the world. He wanted to see the man alive, not burned back there like a body shell in another body. And some of the money must be left with Faber, of course, but to be spent after Montag ran on his way. Perhaps he could make a open country to live on, or near the rivers and near the highways, in the fields and hills. A great whirling whisper made him look to the sky. The police helicopters were rising so far away that it seemed someone had blown the grey head of dry dandelion flower. The 24 of them flurried, wavering, indecisive, 3 miles off, like butterflies puzzled by autumn, and then they were plummeting down to land, one by one, here, there, softly kneading the street where turned back to beetles. They shriek along the boulevards or as suddenly he leapt back into the air, continuing their search. And there was the gas station, its attendants busy now with customers approaching from the rear. Montag entered the men's washroom. Through the aluminium wall, he heard a radio voice saying, "War has been declared." The gas was being pumped outside. The men in the beetles were talking, and the attendants were talking about the engines, the gas, the money out. Montag stood trying to make himself feel the shock of the quiet statement from the radio, but nothing would happen. The war wouldn't have to wait for him to come to it in his personal file. An hour, 2 hours from now. He washed his hands and face and toweled himself dry, making little sound. He came out of the washroom and shut the door carefully and walked into the darkness and at last stood again on the edge of the empty boulevard. There it lay, a game for him to win, a vast bowling alley in the cool morning. The boulevard was as clean as the surface, and nearly 2 minutes before the appearance of certain unnamed victims and certain unknown killers. The air over and above the vast concrete river trembled with the warmth of Montag's body alone. It was incredible how it felt. His temperature could cause the whole immediate world to vibrate. It was phosphorescent target. He knew it. He felt it. And now he must begin his little walk. I'm gonna drink some water. That's too good. Okay. 3 blocks away, a few headlights glared. Montag drew a deep breath. His lungs were like burning bronze in his chest. His mouth was sucked dry from running. His throat tasted of body iron, and there was rusted steel in his feet. What about those lights there? Once you started walking, you'd have to gauge how fast those beetles could make it down here. Well, how far was it to the other curb? It seemed like 100 yards, probably not 100, but figure for that anyway. Figure that with him going very slowly at a nice stroll, it might take as much as 30 seconds, 40 seconds to walk all the way. The beetles, once started, they could leave 3 blocks behind them in about 15 seconds. So even if halfway across he started to run, he put his right foot out and then his left foot and then his right. He walked on the empty avenue. Sorry. Even if the street were entirely empty, of course, you couldn't be sure of a safe crossing, for a car could appear suddenly over the rise of 4 blocks further on and be on, and bust past you before you had taken a dozen breaths. The wind, bro. It's the wind, bro. It's the wind. Okay. He decided not to count his steps. He looked neither to left nor right. The light from the overhead lamps seemed as bright and revealing as the midday sun, and just as hot. He listened to the sound of the car picking up speed 2 blocks away on his right. Its movable headlight jerked back and forth suddenly. He caught at Montag. "Keep going." Montag faltered, got a grip on the blocks, and forced himself not to freeze. Instinctively, he took a few quick, running steps, then talked out loud to himself and pulled up to strut again. He was now half across the street, but the roar from the Beetle's engines whined higher as it put on speed. The police, of course, they see me, but slow now. Slow, quiet, don't run, don't turn, don't look, don't seem concerned. Walk, that's it, walk, walk. The Beetle was rushing, the Beetle was roaring, the Beetle rises speed, the Beetle was swinging, the Beetle was in high thunder, the Beetle came scheming, the Beetle came a single whistling trajectory, fired from a invisible rifle. It was up to 100 mpf. It was up to 130 at least. Montag clapped his jaws. The heat of the racing headlights burned his cheeks. It seemed and jutted his eyelids and flushed the sore sweat out all over his body. He began to shuffle idiotically and talk to himself, and then he broke and just run. He put down his legs as far as they will go down, and then far out again, and down and down and back and out and down and back. God, he dropped a book. Broke pace, almost turned. Changed his mind, plunged on, yelling his concrete emptiness. The Beetle scuttling after its running food. 200, 100 feet away, 90, 80, 70, Montag gasping, flailing, his hands, legs up, down, out. Oh my Jesus. Up, down, out, closer, hosting, calling. His eyes burned while now as his head jerked about to confront the flashing glare. Now the Beetle was swallowed in its own light. Now it was nothing but a torch curling upon him. All sound, all blare. Now almost on top of him. He stumbled and fell. I'm done. It's over. But the falling made a difference. An instant before reaching him, a wild Beetle cut and swayed out. It was gone. Montag lay flat, his head down. Wisps of laughter trailed back to him with the blue exhaust from the Beetle. His right hand was extended above him, flat across the extreme tip of his middle finger. He saw now, as he lifted that hand, the faint 16th. The length 16th of an inch of black thread where terror had touched in passing. He looked at the black line with disbelief. Getting to his feet, that wasn't the police, he thought. He looked down the boulevard. It was clear now. A car full of children, all ages, God knew, from 12 to 16, out whistling, yelling, hurrying, had seen a man, a very extraordinary sight, a man strolling, a rarity, and simply said, "Let's get him," not knowing he was the fugitive Mr. Montag. Simply a number of children out for a long night of rowing 500 or 600 miles in a few moonlight hours, their faces icy with wind, and coming home or not coming down, alive or not alive. That made the adventure. He would have killed me, thought Montag, swaying the air, still torn the stern about him in dust, touching his breast cheek. For no reason at all in the world, they would have killed me. He walked toward the far curb, telling each foot to go and keep going. Somehow he had picked up and spilled books he didn't remember bending on touching him. He kept moving them from hand to hand as if they were a poker hand he could not figure. I wonder if they were the ones who killed Clarice. He stopped, and his mind said it again, very loud. I wonder if they were ones who killed Clarice. He wanted to run after them, yelling. His eyes watered. The things that had saved him was falling flat. The driver of the car, see Montag down, instinctively considered the probability that running over a body at speed might turn the car upside down and spill them out. If Montag remained a bread target, Montag gasped. Far down the boulevard, 4 blocks away, the Beetle had slowed, spun about on 2 wheels, and was now racing back, slanting over on the wrong side of the street, picking up speed. But Montag was gone, hidden in the safety of the dark alley for which he had set out on a long journey, an hour or was in a minute ago. He stood shivering in the night, looking back out as the Beetle ran by and skidded back to the center of the avenue, whirling laughter in the air all about it. Gone further on as Montag moved in the darkness, he could see the helicopters falling like the first flakes of snow in the long winter to come. Okay, so that's for now. And I read until 167, and next time I'll continue from here. So that's for now. And the wind is very comfortable, and it's pretty good, the weather. And so that's for today. And if you like the video, please consider subscribing. And thank you very much. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.